There are no limits to what we can do together. So let's keep
The Cork Dorks with Adam Montiel and Jeremy West, live from the California Mid-State Fair.
Here we go, hanging out with our friends from Barton Family Wines and Grey Wolf in the house. Jeremy, it's a beautiful, I would say like low 80s, right? Or maybe low 90s.
Awesome day,
it's
man.
Beautiful.
It's really great weather.
You got nice wind. Look at the American flag blowing. The trees are blowing. We're in Mission Square. We're about to get, it's 84 in El Paso de Robles, and we're about to get a frosé. I can just feel it. We're about to get 5 frosés. I can just feel it.
If you wish it, it will come.
Yeah, Conrad, turn up the house. We're about to get. Oh, she's looking at me like, hell no, hell no. I love you, 15C. We got Joe Barton. He is the proprietor. Also, Jenny Barton, who showed up a second ago.
Jenny's hanging on the couch, just looking pretty.
Look at you.
Just looking pretty.
We got Brad Ely, who is the winemaker. Been getting to know him, and introduce.
I brought something that maybe we've all wish we had in house was I got me a Berry White.
You got a Berry White.
I got me a Berry White. That's real.
Let's hear this Berry White.
I was wondering how long.
Oh shoot. So I was wondering how long I was going to take before we'd have taken the mickey out my name, but it took you 10 seconds.
Barry White, are you English?
No, then it gets worse. I'm actually from Scotland.
I screw this up every time. I call every Aussie a Kiwi and every Kiwi an Aussie, and then I found out they hate each other, and then I didn't mean to offend you.
No, it's fine. I mean, growing up in Scotland, you support 2 soccer teams, Scotland and anyone playing England, so you try to avoid being called English as much as possible.
Very well, right.
I love how you call it soccer, not football.
Yeah, I've been here longer than I lived in Scotland, so the kids call it soccer. I call it soccer now as well.
I'm just crashing because I love that we have a Scot today. It's National Scotch Day today.
Nice!
That's actually the only reason I showed up. Joe promised me a little shot of something.
He promised you some single malt.
I smelled something on your breath.
That's all right. I'm gonna go. We can go to the Heritage Lounge and see see if we can find some single malt.
How long have you been at Barton Family Wines, the GM over there? Talk about your experience thus far.
It's just since February of this year, so still pretty new. New to the wine industry and the Paso Robles community, actually.
Wow, cool.
I come from a very different background. I was in the cruise industry for 20 years.
I could see why you left after 2020.
Well, yes, some left, some were told to leave, so I already had property up here and had kind of had my eye on moving up to this part of the world. And
cool.
Super excited to be there. And Joe and Jenny offered an amazing opportunity, and it's been a fun ride. It seems like it's been a lot longer than 4 or 5 months.
Seriously, our kids were originally started with our kids. We're hanging out doing sports together in Templeton, and then Barry was helping out Lavigne for a hot minute when he first kind of got up here, and then decided to kind of move over to us, and then and now we do a daily walk. Me and Barry walk up Ridge every morning, so it's Ridge Road right there in Templeton. So we just discuss the world and discuss how nice it is to live in Templeton, and have good things in front of us. So it's
where's Ridge Road?
So Ridge Road is in Templeton, so it's right off Santa Rita Creek. I bought a new little piece of property up that way, and it's I'm trying to think. You've probably done stuff with Lone Madrone back in the past, and maybe even Turley. Martinelli Vineyard is one of the oldest vineyards. So that's where Martinelli Vineyard is, up on Ridge Road.
All right.
So it's really cool. It's a great little walk.
How close is it to your house?
It is right around the corner from my house.
Okay, so you literally just walk to the walk.
We walk to the walk.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. 6:30 in the morning. You're right around the corner. So if you want to just pop out of N2, come over to my house, make a walk.
Maybe we will. Maybe we'll just end up in your pool.
Well, we can do that afterwards. We're good.
What is what was the reason for this acquisition of real estate? Is this going to be some sort of structure? Is it going to be land, grapes? What
grapes and house. Grapes and house.
Really cool.
Yeah, grapes and a place to live.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, it's God's country over there. We're super stoked. I'll have to take you over there.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
Yeah, there's actually it's right across the street from Bob Haas's house from Topples Creek. He bought that little place when he first got started. Yeah, and I don't know when he bought it, but he bought that place, and I believe Bob. What was Bob's wife's name?
Barbara.
I believe Barbara Sook is out there. Jason and Megan. I see them out there from time to time, and there's a little small Pinot vineyard right there. So that full circle Pinot that they make that's where it's from.
That's so
that's
cool.
That's a little estate vineyard. So
God, he was a legend. We were doing a show. Somebody brought up Richard Surratt. It was so much fun to talk about him. I know you got connections there.
Yep.
But Bob Haas, I mean, man, what a legend, huh?
Yeah,
So neat.
no, I got a chance to meet Bob a couple times, and
Yeah.
and then obviously just knowing Jason as much as I do, and obviously Brad has experienced him. An amazing family, really good people.
We did this one show with Topless Creek, and it was in like that kind of middle room. You'll know it, off of the tasting room with like that round bar. And we were all sitting there, and it was Jason, Bob, Jeremy, and I, and did a fantastic episode of the Cork Dorks. And then, a few years later, we're back in there, probably about 4 or 5 months after we had lost Bob, and literally it like hit me that we're literally sitting in the same 4 chairs, and that chair is there and empty. It was just really heavy, but it was a really cool moment because we were, listening to Jason reflect on his dad, and then, Audrey and I went back to Beaucastel and hearing them reflect on Bob Haas. Like, Paso was very lucky to have him.
Yeah, no, he brought a. I remember when it got started, and it was there was a few things that were happening in the late '90s that when we started out here, we were all kind of chasing the dream, but it wasn't. There was the original Estrella group. Literally everybody that was kind of established at that time at one point had worked at Estrella. That whole lineage, and that when Bob and the Haas's came in, and then Stefan, you had this group of foreigners basically. You're like, this place is badass, and we're gonna invest in it. And you're like, huh, really? I'm like, we really thought this was cowboy wine. That was all they did. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you're like, there's some serious people coming here. Dudes from Bordeaux, dudes from the Rhone and Châteauneuf-du-Pape. And at the time, truthfully, I don't think many of us knew what the hell that was. Yeah. I won't lie to you. We're like, yeah, that sounds cool. They're from France. The French. Yeah. French are coming. This is going to be cool. and how they were doing it
like
was...
Paul Revere, like, the French are coming.
Yeah. And we were always like, wow, they guys are spending lots of money. And to us, it just seemed extravagant. But we hadn't seen that yet. We hadn't understood that.
Was there a certain sector of people that threw shade on that the way they do now when people do that? Thank you.
You wanted to, just because you didn't understand it, and you didn't see the value in it, because maybe we just hadn't seen the wine universe yet. I hadn't. I'm sure somebody like Gary Eberly had. Who was much more seasoned and had seen the world and understood the wine market. Well, I was 20-something years old. I was green as all green gets. But all that did was kind of make us realize that there's obviously something here that's beyond just this little cow town, and it blossomed into what it is now. Somebody like Barry would move here and retire from a good industry in the cruise industry to relocate himself into this Paso Robles wine country, because it's something. It's real. And Brad to travel the world and end up back here knowing that he can make world class wines. It all.
And it feels like this has all happened in the last 15 years.
Yeah, I'd say so.
It's crazy where it was when we did the show with you 11 years ago, and then where it is today. Like, everybody. It's just everything has changed so
I remember
fast.
when they made that thing, and it was like...
What's that thing?
That thing
that Toby...
I remember it. It was just to see the fair at that time. It was so different, Or like the idea of us having a winemaking talk show here. Right? It was just like, let's go to the fair. We're going to sling some red wine to the crew in the jazz night. And it was Tommy Gagne, and he's like, okay, guys, and literally the wine guys ourselves are going and schlepping wine for Tommy in the grandstand. He's all right, guys, I need to sling all this wine, so buy the glass or sell the bottle. And he gave us all these pricing, but by 5 minutes in, we're like, all right, $5 glass, $20 bottle. That was it. We're like, that's all we said. 5 or 20. Because I know I don't have exact change, and nor am I going to try to do it.
People are just like, here's 40. Give me 2 bottles.
Now the glass is 20.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, right. And Tommy would come back, and we're just shoving money at him. We're like, here's all these 20s. Like, oh, you guys are doing well. I'm like, I might be undercutting you a little bit, but whatever. I'm moving product.
That's Joe Barton family, and Grey Wolf. We're talking. We got Barry White, the GM here. We got Brad. He's the winemaker. Talk about those early days. Who did you lean on when you were getting in here and you had a question? Because we always know that Paso Robles is a great community. They all kind of lean on each other. Who are the guys that you really?
I leaned on Danny Panico, Robert Nadeau, Art Norman. I literally just went to Robert Nadeau's house or his winery the other day, and Yeah, some of those were some great early guys who absolutely just would give me, any time they need. Tom Meyer out at Castoro. Sure. Tom would always, I'd walk out there and be like, I got a question about this, and Tom would sit me down and give me, 30 minutes of his time at any time, phone calls. And one of the reasons why I love giving Brad the opportunity, because that's what people gave me. They without strings, without any type of any expected payback. It's like, hey, we're just trying to pass it forward and pay it forward, and it was cool. I mean, it really, I can't stress enough what it was like in the 90s to see those kind of people, basically, always there, willing to help, and we're doing it for the cause. We're doing it for pass.
Like back in the day, Joji's like paging people. He's like, hey,
Tom
Meyer, 911.
No, there wasn't paging. It was literally, you had to drive out there.
Oh, you really? Yeah.
You're like, all right.
Tom Meyer did not have the pager back then.
Yeah, I have to hope he's there, knock on the door. There was a lot of that, dude. Seriously, I would just drive over. Like, I remember I had a really long conversation with Art Norman, and I was just hoping that he was out there. I mean, it was a 30-minute drive, and Art, and Art sit down, like, all right,
by horse.
Let's sit down. We're gonna pop a bottle. And then that bottle became another bottle, and then
you forgot why you got
maybe
there.
I had to stay the night.
What's great about that story and the fact that you're still doing it today, I feel like it's such a dying cause, or it's just something that used to be normal, and now it's all about, it's not like how hard you work or how hard you want it and how hard you try. It's all about who you know and who's going to get you in, and it doesn't matter how good you are. And outside of the wine industry, I'm talking about in the rest of the world, but for some reason in Paso Robles in the wine industry, it seems like people are still willing to help other people and try to make them successful.
A little bit of both. It's competitive, but also, I think
there's an ugly side to Paso.
No, I'm just saying you're always going to have that as things get more prosperous, and you get a higher level of competition. That level of help is there, but it's also like there's this competitive advantage. So I mean, it didn't used to. It doesn't give it away as freely as it used to, I would say. But at the same time, there's still a community support. We're still Paso fighting to have relevance, in the wine world. So it hasn't diminished from that respect. But then it's bigger too. It's not like I know everybody like I used to. I knew everybody.
What is that relevance today from where it was 5 years, 6 years ago?
I think that the crazy thing is, I think we can almost. I mean, everybody can have their own opinion on this, but if we can be in the same conversation with Napa and Sonoma now on a regular basis, that's pretty big stuff.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Adam and Jeremy, the Cork Dorks, that's Joe Barton. I'm curious, Barry, what was it about the brand and what you learned about Barton Family Wines that made you excited to come on board, and things you've kind of noticed in the last several months that you've been here that have just kind of lit you up?
Well, I think the first thing is Joe mentioned that we walk and talk in the morning, and I think for the first month, we just walked, barely. We couldn't talk.
Because it was a steep hill.
It was a steep hill, and we struggled. But in all seriousness, there's something magical about the property over there, and there's something unique about the story behind.
For sure.
Joe, Jenny, the wines, the songs. There's something really magical over there, and what we're trying to do, or what I'm trying to do, is help find some what's the word I'm looking for? Unusual routes to market, non-traditional routes to market. Joe and Brad make a certain amount of wine, and you can't scale that by 10, 20%, or 100%. So it's trying to find ways that we can expand the footprint of the brand, but do it in a smart way that we can actually, facilitate it and at the right price point. So, just one of the things we were doing just on Friday night, we did a dinner with the Miami Dolphins, some of the players. Some of the senior players wanted to introduce themselves to be, they just got traded onto the team, and we were fortunate to be asked if we could sponsor that and participate in that. So and that opened up doors to some celebrity chefs in Miami that were also hosting that dinner. So it's just finding these ways where you don't have to throw a sales team or be in an airplane every week or throw a lot of marketing dollars to grow the brand. And I think that's what excites me the most, is that Joe and Jenny, but both of them are open to trying these new things. And so far, it's been pretty successful.
Mm-hmm.
We just got back we just got back from Nashville as well, which is a cool trip.
Really successful. Yeah, and then once again, a different way to go about it. Wine dinners, but also to kind of like individual. Based on on one particular site and one particular person with wine locker. It was just it wouldn't be like hey, I grab my bag and I'm going to go hit like 20 accounts and go try to get into every joint. You're like, no, it's more about the quality of the spot,
picky and choosy.
Yeah, and just trying to get and trying to really invest in them, and then in turn that they feel like we've given them so much attention that they'll give us more attention themselves. So it actually worked out quite well.
There's Joe Barton. We're here at the fair. It's the California Mid-State Fair. Jeremy and Adam, we're talking Barton family and Grey Wolf wines. We'll have more coming up.